The story opens with a dramatic and intense moment, setting the stage for a conflict that will captivate viewers from the start. Sophia, a hard-working and pregnant receptionist, has spent months enduring harsh treatment from her boss, Dominic, the billionaire CEO of Apex Enterprises. Dominic is known for his ruthless business approach, and nothing gets in the way of his ambition. His employees fear him, and Sophia has become one of his most frequent targets. But what starts as a typical day at the office quickly turns into a nightmare when an innocent mistake leads to a public humiliation that will change everything. Sophia, struggling with the weight of her pregnancy and the stress of her job, accidentally spills coffee during a hectic moment. In an instant, Dominic seizes the opportunity to assert his power. He lashes out at her in front of the entire office, reducing her to tears with his cold, cutting remarks. The once calm and collected Sophia finds herself vulnerable and exposed as her colleagues watch in stunned silence, unwilling to intervene. Dominic's actions seem to have no boundaries, and it's clear that this isn't just about a spilled drink. There's something deeper, something more personal at play. But what is it? Why does Dominic seem to take such pleasure in belittling Sophia? What is it about her that gets under his skin? The video teases these questions right from the start, hooking the audience and urging them to stick around to uncover the truth. And as the story unfolds, viewers will learn that this isn't just a case of a boss overstepping his professional boundaries. The relationship between Dominic and Sophia is far more complicated, with secrets that run deeper than anyone could imagine. As the teaser ends, the video invites viewers to keep watching, promising revelations that will turn everything upside down. A simple workplace drama will become a much bigger story of power, betrayal, and the shocking truth about the father of Sophia's baby. Before diving into the main story, the video takes a moment to engage the audience. The narrator invites viewers to join the conversation, asking them to comment on their thoughts about the situation. Viewers are encouraged to share what they think might happen next or to relate their own experiences of difficult bosses or workplace conflicts. The comment section becomes a place for viewers to connect with each other, sparking conversations and theories about the upcoming twists and turns in the story. The video also makes a clear call to action for viewers to subscribe to the channel, ensuring they won't miss any future content. By encouraging interaction and engagement early on, the video builds a community of viewers who are invested in Sophia's journey and eager to see what happens next. This call to action is designed to keep the audience coming back for more, creating anticipation for future episodes or updates. The invitation to subscribe is presented in a way that feels natural, blending seamlessly into the dramatic narrative that's unfolding. Sophia is a character that many viewers will immediately relate to. She's hardworking, dedicated, and trying her best to keep her head above water in a stressful environment. But life at Apex Enterprises isn't easy. As a receptionist, Sophia is often overlooked, treated as insignificant by her colleagues and especially by Dominic, the company's CEO. Despite the challenges, Sophia is determined to make things work. She's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, literally. Not only is she balancing her demanding job, but she's also pregnant, a fact that seems to make her a target for gossip and judgment from her co-workers. Sophia's pregnancy has become a source of speculation around the office. Who is the father? Why is she so secretive about it? The whispers behind her back only add to her stress. Her colleagues throw disapproving glances her way, and there's a growing sense that her pregnancy somehow makes her less competent or worthy of respect in their eyes. But Sophia is far from weak. She's resilient, even in the face of constant judgment, and refuses to let the whispers get to her. She knows the truth about her situation, but she isn't ready to reveal it just yet. Though Sophia is quiet and keeps to herself, there's a fire inside her. She is stronger than anyone gives her credit for, and as the story progresses, viewers will see that Sophia is more than capable of standing up for herself. But for now, she's navigating her life at Apex Enterprises with as much grace as she can muster. It's clear that something big is coming, and that Sophia's story is about to take a dramatic turn that will challenge her in ways she never expected. Dominic, the CEO of Apex Enterprises, is a man who commands respect, or rather, demands it. He's the kind of boss who values power above all else, and he runs his company with an iron fist. His reputation as a ruthless businessman precedes him, and he's feared by nearly everyone who works under him. Dominic's rise to the top was no accident. He's worked hard to build Apex into the empire it is today, and he's not about to let anyone stand in his way, not even a pregnant receptionist. Cold, calculating, and often dismissive, Dominic is the epitome of the powerful CEO archetype. He doesn't care about the personal lives of his employees, and he certainly doesn't have time for mistakes. When Sophia spills coffee, Dominic sees it as more than just an accident. To him, it's a sign of weakness, an opportunity to assert his dominance in front of everyone. His public humiliation of Sophia isn't just about her mistake, it's about maintaining control. But Dominic isn't just a one-dimensional villain. Beneath his harsh exterior lies a man who is deeply conflicted, though he'd never admit it. He spent years building walls around himself, keeping people at a distance to protect his empire. However, as the story unfolds, viewers will begin to see cracks in Dominic's armor. There's more to him than meets the eye, and as his connection to Sophia becomes clearer, his motivations will be called into question. Dominic is a man who thrives on control, but for the first time, he's about to face a situation where his power might not be enough. And when he realizes the truth about the father of Sophia's baby, it will send shockwaves through his carefully constructed world. As the office buzzes with activity, a seemingly mundane moment escalates into something far more intense. Sophia, juggling multiple tasks at once, is in the process of delivering coffee to one of the high-powered executives when her hand slips. The cup topples, spilling its contents across the pristine marble floor right in front of Dominic, the CEO. Time seems to freeze for a second. Everyone in the office holds their breath, eyes darting nervously toward Dominic, anticipating his reaction. They know what's coming. Dominic's temper is as infamous as his business acumen. Dominic looks down at the spilled coffee, his eyes narrowing as they rise to meet Sophia's. The room feels suffocating with the tension. Without missing a beat, Dominic launches into a tirade. His voice, calm but icy, cuts through the silence like a knife. "Is this how you handle responsibility, Sophia? Is this the best you can do?" His words sting, each one more humiliating than the last. Sophia feels her face flush with embarrassment as her colleagues steal glances at her, some looking sympathetic, others smugly satisfied to see her on the receiving end of Dominic's wrath. He continues to berate her, raising his voice now, making sure everyone in the office can hear. "This is exactly why people like you never make it beyond mediocrity. If you can't handle something as simple as a coffee cup, how can you expect to handle anything of significance?" Dominic's words aren't just about the coffee spill. They're a direct attack on Sophia's worth, a dismissal of her capabilities, and a blatant reminder of his power over her. The office is deathly quiet, save for the sound of Dominic's cold words echoing off the walls. Sophia stands frozen, her heart racing, fighting the urge to cry, but she won't give him the satisfaction. She knows that showing any sign of vulnerability in front of Dominic would only encourage him to push harder. So she swallows her pride, mutters an apology, and bends down to clean up the mess, feeling the weight of her colleagues' eyes on her. As she kneels on the floor trying to compose herself, the moment stretches endlessly. Dominic watches her with a look of disdain, then finally turns and walks away, leaving a stunned silence in his wake. But as he leaves, something inside Sophia shifts. She's had enough. This isn't just about a spilled cup of coffee. It's about the way she's been treated since day one, and more than that, it's about the secret she's been hiding, the secret that will soon come to light. Later that evening, as Sophia sits alone in her small apartment, the weight of the day crashes down on her. She thinks about everything she's been through, how hard it's been to work under Dominic's cold, oppressive rule, especially now that she's pregnant. Her thoughts drift back to the charity gala months ago, where everything changed. The memory is still vivid, a mixture of excitement, anxiety, and now, regret. At the gala, she had met someone charming, mysterious, and unlike anyone she'd ever met before. They spent the evening talking, laughing, and eventually sharing a moment of intimacy that led to her current situation. Sophia had never intended for things to go so far, and she certainly hadn't planned on getting pregnant. But life has a way of throwing the unexpected at you, and now she's left with the consequences of that night. What makes it even harder is the fact that she knows who the father is. She's kept it a secret, but the weight of that knowledge presses on her every day. The father isn't just any man. It's someone who would turn her entire world upside down if anyone found out. She thinks about revealing the truth but quickly dismisses the idea. It's too risky, too dangerous. There's too much at stake. As if on cue, her phone buzzes. Sophia opens it to find an anonymous letter waiting for her. The words are few, but they hit her like a ton of bricks. I know the truth about your baby. Her heart skips a beat. Who sent this? How do they know? Panic sets in as Sophia rereads the message, her mind racing. She had been so careful to keep everything under wraps. No one at work knows, not even her closest friends. Yet somehow, someone has found out. Fear tightens around her chest. If this secret gets out, it could destroy everything: her job, her reputation, her ability to provide for her child. And worse, what if Dominic finds out? Sophia knows that Dominic would not take this revelation well. His pride and his need for control would make this situation even more dangerous for her. The letter has thrown her off balance, and for the first time, Sophia feels genuinely afraid. Who could be behind this message? What do they want? Is it blackmail? Is someone planning to expose her? Or is it a warning? Every possible scenario plays through her mind, but the answers elude her. She feels trapped, unsure of who to trust or where to turn. All she knows is that she can't let anyone find out the truth, especially not Dominic. As Sophia lies awake that night, sleep evades her. She replays the events of the day over and over in her mind, her thoughts shifting between Dominic's cruel words and the anonymous letter. Then, something clicks. Dominic has always been a powerful figure in her life, casting a long shadow over everything she does. But what if he has a shadow of his own? One that he doesn't even realize is looming. The next day at work, Dominic is going about his usual routine when he stumbles upon something unexpected. He's reviewing photos from the charity gala, preparing for a company newsletter, when one image catches his eye. It's a picture of Sophia standing beside him at the event. But that's not what surprises him. What shocks him to his core is the realization that he's seen this image before. Not just in the photo, but in his memory. His brain connects the dots, and for the first time, Dominic begins to realize the truth. He is the father of Sophia's child. Dominic stares at the photo, his mind reeling. How could this have happened? He had no idea that the woman he met that night was his employee, let alone that she was now pregnant with his child. The more he thinks about it, the more the pieces of the puzzle fall into place. The tension between them at work, her recent mood changes, and now this photograph. It all makes sense now. For a moment, Dominic is at a loss. This is a situation he's never had to face before. He's built his entire life around control. Control over his company, his employees, and his reputation. But now, that control is slipping through his fingers. He's always been the one holding the cards, but this revelation changes everything. He knows he'll have to confront Sophia, but how? Should he accuse her of keeping this from him? Should he demand an explanation? The conflict brewing inside him is one of both anger and fear. Fear of losing his carefully crafted empire and fear of facing the responsibilities he's never been prepared to take on. As Dominic sits in his office staring blankly at the photo, he knows that nothing will ever be the same. The truth has been exposed and there's no turning back. He can't avoid this confrontation any longer. Dominic spends the entire day in a haze, his mind swirling with the revelation that he is the father of Sophia's child. His usual icy demeanor is replaced by a deep, gnawing unease. He knows he needs to confront her, but how does one go about such a delicate personal conversation? He isn't used to vulnerability or personal entanglements. Power is his language, domination, control, and precision. But this is messy, complicated, and filled with emotions he's spent years suppressing. For someone who thrives on authority, Dominic finds himself caught in a web of uncertainty, and that terrifies him. Late in the afternoon, he calls Sophia to his office. When she steps in, she can immediately sense that something is different. There's no scorn in his eyes, no dismissive glare. Instead, there's an intensity she's never seen before. Dominic stands by his desk, not behind it as usual, which immediately puts her on edge. He wastes no time. His words, though measured, are sharp and full of accusation. "Why didn't you tell me?" Sophia's heart stops for a moment. She knew this day might come, but she wasn't prepared for it to happen so soon, or like this. Still, she plays innocent, her voice steady despite the panic rising in her chest. "Tell you what, Dominic." "The baby," he responds, his voice tight, the words coming out as a hiss. "I'm the father, aren't I?" He steps closer, his towering presence more suffocating than ever. "You've known all along and you didn't think to tell me. Or were you just planning to keep it a secret forever?" Sophia feels cornered, but she refuses to let Dominic intimidate her. She takes a deep breath and meets his gaze head on. "I wasn't planning to keep anything from you, Dominic, but I wasn't sure how to approach you. You've made it clear how you feel about me, how you treat me. Why would I bring something this personal to you when you've done nothing but belittle and humiliate me since day one?" Dominic is taken aback by her directness. He's used to people cowering in front of him, but here is Sophia, standing her ground, pushing back against him. His frustration flares. "Don't act like you're the victim here, Sophia. You could have come to me. Instead, you let this drag on, pretending like nothing happened. Did you think I wouldn't find out?" Sophia's eyes flash with anger. "Find out? Dominic, you didn't care enough to even notice. This isn't about me hiding anything. This is about your arrogance and how little you think of the people around you." The tension in the room is electric, both of them locked in a battle of wills. But beneath her anger, there's something else, a deep exhaustion. Sophia is tired. Tired of Dominic's cruelty, tired of the judgment from her co-workers, tired of carrying this burden alone. She didn't ask for this situation, and she certainly didn't ask for Dominic to waltz into her life, demanding answers without taking any responsibility for the way he's treated her. She steels herself, her voice firm but calm. "This isn't just about you, Dominic. You may be the father, but that doesn't give you the right to control me or this situation. You need to make a decision. Are you going to step up and be a part of this, or are you going to keep acting like nothing matters except your pride and power?" Dominic is silent for a long moment, his jaw clenched. He's never been challenged like this before, least of all by someone like Sophia. It throws him off balance, and for the first time he feels like he's not in control. His mind is racing. How did this happen? How did he let someone like Sophia, someone he had always dismissed as insignificant, get this close? And he could walk away? He could push her out of his life, pretend this never happened? But deep down, he knows it's not that simple. This is real. There's a child involved, his child, and no matter how much he tries to deny it, he can't escape the responsibility that comes with that knowledge. Yet, admitting it means losing control, and that's something Dominic isn't sure he can handle. Sophia watches him carefully, sensing the turmoil beneath his composed exterior. She's already made up her mind. She's not going to beg or plead with him. Her life is hers to lead, with or without Dominic. But she needs to know where he stands. "If you're not willing to be a part of this," she says softly, "then I'll leave. I don't need you. I can do this on my own. But if you want to be a father, really be a father, then you need to make that choice now." Dominic's mind is a storm of conflicting emotions. He's never been the kind of man who allows anyone to dictate terms to him. And yet, here's Sophia, giving him an ultimatum that shakes the very foundation of who he is. His instinct is to lash out, to reclaim his dominance, but something holds him back. There's a strange, unfamiliar feeling gnawing at him, an odd mix of guilt and admiration. He admires her strength, the courage it takes to stand up to him like this. But it's also that very strength that unsettles him because it threatens his carefully constructed identity. After what feels like an eternity, Dominic speaks, but his voice is different this time. Quieter, more reflective. "You think I'm afraid of this, don't you?" he asks, not really expecting an answer. "You think I don't know what to do?" He shakes his head slightly, his gaze distant. "Maybe you're right." Sophia is surprised by his admission, but she doesn't say anything, letting him work through whatever thoughts are running through his mind. For once, Dominic seems unsure, vulnerable even. He sighs, running a hand through his hair, an action so uncharacteristic of him that it almost makes him look human. "I've spent my whole life building this empire, controlling everything around me, making sure nothing could ever get in the way, but this..." He gestures vaguely as if the situation is too overwhelming to put into words. This is different. Sophia listens, her heart softening just a little. She hadn't expected this. She had prepared herself for Dominic's anger, for him to reject her. But this reflection, this uncertainty, it's not what she expected. For the first time, she wonders if there's more to Dominic than the cold, callous man she's seen at work. But she also knows that words aren't enough. Dominic can talk about his fears all he wants, but actions are what matter now. It's not about being afraid, Dominic, she says gently. It's about doing what's right. Dominic looks at her, really looks at her, as if seeing her for the first time. There's something in his eyes, something that tells her he's grappling with more than just this situation. He's grappling with himself, with the person he's become and the person he might need to be. Days pass and Dominic finds himself increasingly distracted by the events that unfolded in his office. He can't focus on work, and the usual satisfaction he gets from dominating boardroom meetings is gone. His mind keeps drifting back to Sophia, to the conversation they had, to the reality that he's about to become a father. The walls he's built around himself are starting to crack, and he doesn't know how to stop it. The breaking point comes during a high-stakes board meeting. The company is on the verge of a major deal, one that could change the trajectory of Apex Enterprises. The board members are tense, awaiting Dominic's decision on how to proceed. But as the discussion intensifies, Dominic finds his focus slipping. His mind isn't on the deal. It's on Sophia, on the child he's about to bring into the world. And then in the middle of the meeting, the door swings open. Sophia stands there, her expression calm but determined. The board members fall silent, their eyes darting between Dominic and the unexpected visitor. Dominic stands, his heart pounding. "What are you doing here, Sophia?" Sophia takes a deep breath, her voice steady as she speaks. "I'm here because you need to face the truth, Dominic. You're going to be a father, and everyone in this room deserves to know who you really are." The board members exchange shocked glances, murmurs spreading through the room like wildfire. Dominic feels the ground shift beneath him. He knows that in this moment, everything is about to change, not just in his personal life, but in his professional world too. He's been exposed, not as the powerful, untouchable CEO he's always projected, but as a man grappling with personal challenges that are far beyond his control. For a long moment, no one says anything. Then one of the board members speaks up, his tone measured but direct. "Dominic, is this true?" Dominic looks around the room at the faces of the people who have always seen him as invincible, untouchable. He could deny it, try to brush it off as some kind of misunderstanding. But deep down, he knows that would only make things worse. He can't keep running from this. He can't keep hiding behind his power and status. He takes a deep breath and turns to face Sophia, his voice steady but resigned. "Yes," he says, "it's true." The air in the boardroom is thick with tension. Dominic's admission has stunned everyone. The powerful CEO they've revered for so long now standing exposed in a way no one could have anticipated. His declaration that he is indeed the father of Sophia's child hangs in the air like a thunderclap, and for a moment, no one knows how to react. The silence feels deafening. Sophia watches Dominic closely. She sees the cracks in his armor, the vulnerability he's trying so hard to mask. But she also knows this moment had to happen. There was no more hiding, no more pretending. She stands tall, not out of triumph, but out of necessity. She didn't want to embarrass him like this in front of his colleagues, but she needed him to understand the gravity of the situation, to face the truth head on. This isn't just about business anymore. This is about life, about family, about responsibility. The board members, some still in shock, begin to stir. One of the older executives, clearly uncomfortable, clears his throat and speaks. "Dominic, this is unexpected. But what are your intentions here? You've always been focused on the company, and this, well, it complicates things." Dominic's jaw tightens. He's not used to being questioned, especially not in this manner. For years, he's ruled Apex Enterprises with an iron fist, his authority unquestioned. But now it feels like that authority is slipping through his fingers. The company's future, his reputation, and his personal life are all colliding in a way he never imagined. And yet, for the first time in his life, Dominic feels like there's something more important than the business he's devoted his entire existence to. He glances at Sophia, who stands resolute, and then back to the board. "I know this is a shock to all of you," he begins, his voice measured. "But it's true. I am going to be a father. And I won't lie, this changes things. It changes a lot." The board members exchange glances, uncertain where this is heading. "I've spent my entire life building this company," Dominic continues. "Apex has been everything to me, but now I need to take a step back." His words hang in the air and the room erupts into whispers. Dominic pauses, letting the weight of his decision sink in. "I'm going to step down temporarily. I need time to figure things out, time to focus on Sophia and our child. This is bigger than any business deal or corporate strategy." The reaction is immediate. Some of the board members, particularly the older ones who have known Dominic for years, are visibly shocked. "Step down?" one of them echoes, his voice incredulous. "Dominic, you're the face of Apex, the driving force behind everything we've achieved. How can you just step away?" Dominic understands their concerns. He's always been the cornerstone of Apex, the one everyone relied on to make the tough calls, to lead them through challenges. But now, for the first time, he's facing a challenge he can't control through sheer force of will. And he knows that if he doesn't address it, if he doesn't take responsibility, he could lose something far more important than any business. He looks around the room, locking eyes with each board member. "I know what this company means to all of you," he says firmly, "and I'm not abandoning it. But I can't be the leader you expect me to be right now if I don't take care of my personal life. This isn't a decision I'm making lightly. I'll be back. But for now, I need to focus on being the man I need to be for my family." The room falls silent again, but this time the atmosphere is different. There's a newfound respect in the eyes of some of the board members. Dominic has always been known for his strength, his unyielding drive, but now he's showing a different kind of strength, a willingness to put his personal life before his professional ambitions, and that, in its own way, commands respect. One of the younger executives, who has admired Dominic's leadership for years, speaks up. "We understand, Dominic. You've built something incredible here, and we'll make sure it stays on course while you take the time you need." Dominic nods, grateful for the support, but he knows this isn't about just maintaining the status quo. Apex will go on without him for now, and when he returns, things might be different. But for the first time in his life, that doesn't scare him. What scares him is the thought of missing out on the opportunity to be a father, to be there for Sophia when she needs him most. Sophia watches this entire exchange with a mixture of emotions. Part of her is still in disbelief that Dominic has made this decision, that he's willing to step back from the company he's dedicated his life to. But another part of her, the part that has always seen more in Dominic than just the ruthless CEO, feels a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, he's capable of change. Later, after the board meeting has dispersed and the office has quieted down, Dominic finds Sophia alone in the hallway. He approaches her, his face unreadable. For a moment, neither of them says anything. The silence is thick with unspoken words, with the weight of everything that's happened between them. Finally, Dominic speaks, his voice softer than usual. "I meant what I said in there, Sophia. I'm stepping down. I'm not walking away from this, from you, from the baby." He pauses, searching for the right words. "I know I've been difficult. I know I've treated you poorly, but I want to make this right." Sophia looks at him, unsure of how to respond. She's seen Dominic's cruelty, his arrogance, his coldness. But now, standing before her is a man who seems different, humbled, maybe even vulnerable. "I don't need you to make promises, Dominic," she says quietly. "I just need to know that you're serious. This isn't about your reputation or your company. This is about being a father, being someone who's there for their child." Dominic nods, his expression earnest. "I know, and I am serious, Sophia. I don't know what kind of father I'll be, but I'm going to try. I want to be there for you, for both of you." He pauses, his voice softening. "But I understand if you don't trust me yet, I'll have to earn that." Sophia watches him, her emotions swirling. She's hesitant, wary of trusting Dominic after everything that's happened. But there's a sincerity in his words, a vulnerability she's never seen before. Part of her wants to believe him, to believe that he can change, but the other part of her knows that trust isn't something that can be rebuilt overnight. It will take time, effort, and real commitment. "I'll give you a chance, Dominic," she says finally, her voice steady, "but you have to prove it. Words aren't enough." Dominic nods, his expression serious. "I will, I promise." Over the next few weeks, things begin to shift. Dominic, true to his word, steps down from his role as CEO, allowing one of the senior executives to take over in his absence. The transition isn't easy. Apex has always been Dominic's baby, and stepping away from the company feels like losing a part of himself. But every time he feels that familiar pang of doubt, he reminds himself why he's doing this. He spends more time with Sophia, slowly building a relationship with her that isn't just defined by the power dynamics of their workplace. It's awkward at first. Dominic is used to giving orders, not listening. But he makes an effort to change, to be more present, more engaged. He accompanies Sophia to her doctor's appointments, learning about the baby's development, and even starts making plans for the future. It's a slow process, but bit by bit, Dominic is learning what it means to be a father. For Sophia, it's a strange, sometimes surreal experience. She's still wary, still unsure if Dominic's transformation is real or if it's just temporary. But she sees the effort he's making, and part of her can't help but hope. Maybe he really can change. Maybe there's a chance for them to build something together, not as CEO and receptionist, but as parents, as partners. As the months pass, Dominic and Sophia's relationship begins to evolve. They aren't a couple in the traditional sense. There's still too much history, too much baggage between them for that. But they're learning to navigate this new reality together. Dominic is no longer the cold, distant boss who humiliated her in front of the entire office. He's becoming someone she can rely on, someone who's trying to be there for her and their child. The story doesn't end with a grand declaration of love or a perfect resolution. Life is still messy, still complicated, but there's a sense of hope, of possibility. Dominic and Sophia are facing the future together, uncertain but willing to try. They've come a long way from that fateful day in the office, and while the road ahead won't be easy, they're both determined to make it work. And as the video draws to a close, the narrator reminds viewers that life doesn't always follow a neat, predictable script. Sometimes the most unexpected turns lead to the most meaningful journeys. The story of Dominic and Sophia is far from over, but for now they're taking the first steps toward building a life that's no longer defined by power struggles, but by hope, growth, and the chance for something new. The video ends with a heartfelt call to action, asking viewers to share their thoughts, to engage with the story, and to subscribe for future updates. The promise is that there's more to come. More challenges, more growth, and perhaps even more surprises in the journey of Dominic, Sophia, and their child.